Hello, what's up everyone? It is I'm the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here. And I'm the one and only Mighty the Armadillo here, and we are back for some more yet again for the likes of the Merxy Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we basically managed to able to finishing up everything in terms of World Bowser, aka World 8. And overall we did a pretty good run, the only time exception being the fact that we somehow accidentally died during the forms of that particular 4th level, I believe. Or something like that, because of Luigi's greasy shoes or stuff like that. So today for this episode is the fact that we are moving on to the forms of one of 4 special worlds throughout the whole game. So, at least to be more specifically, the Super Mario 3D World portion of the game. So once you beat the game once, that's much like the original version of the game, then you're once again able to stumble across all 7 sprinkly princesses, and then they somehow managed able to craft their rocket, so that way we can able to actually access to one of these special worlds. Now, as far as we already said this before, there are 4 special worlds in the game, like, well, obviously we'll come across into the first special world, which appears to be by the forms of World Star. And by that time, until later on though, then I'm sure enough we'll explain more details about that until whenever we get into the later portion of this particular playthrough. So, yeah, as you can see, that we're now able to actually get into World Star. So because of that though, there might be quite a few amounts of levels to go through. So let's get started with the forms of the first stage in World Star, which is Rainbow Run. And of course, for this particular stage, we're going to be going for Luigi, because obviously we've already played as Mario ever since we defeated Meowser for that particular final boss and all that stuff. So, yeah, for those special worlds in mind, this is where the game starts to get a little bit tricky and difficult, mainly on the final one most likely, because in the last one, oh man, it's going to be a lot, I mean a lot of trial and error with the last main, or the final world in the game actually, which we're probably not going to discuss on that too much though, just because obviously we're going to be able to, well, just get things started with, whoa, okay, that was quite lucky. I wasn't expecting surely if that will make it, but apparently we'll take it, so thank you. So, yeah, with that particular flip panel switch thingy right there, that will have to be one of the hardest of the actual, like, getting the green stars for that particular, you know, the actual switch, and also the flip panels you have to go through, so, yeah. But as long as you would get the hang of it though, it might not be too bad though, unless if you're very lucky like we do, so... Yeah, for the most part, that for World Star basically just takes you to new selections of levels, although whenever we get into the forms of World Mushroom and World Flower, that we might able to stumble across some of these exactly the same levels, but with unique twists to it. And speaking of unique twists to the table, does that particular 8-bit silhouette looks a bit familiar to you? Well, from what I can tell with that familiar shield, and also from the actual shape and everything, and after all, that the entire, one of those Nintendo franchises is now usually 35 years old, well, ever since the original, game came out in 1986, although it's nothing like, sci-fi or anything, it's more like action and adventure kind of way. And I'm sure most people already know what we're gonna try to say. It's the forms of that something begins with an L, not something like Luigi, because if we fill this up completely, there's Link from The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, it's a pretty cool reference though, huh? Yeah, especially noticeable after all that The Legend of Zelda series is now 35 years old, and expecting that the Breath of the Wild sequel will be on its way. So, yeah, that should be pretty exciting, all things considered. So, but I digress. So, yeah, today's day is of course the 23rd of August today, in this case in 2021, and it looks like so far we've only got about 9 more days to go until we moved on to September. So because of that though, geez, I can't even believe we're almost there at the 9th month of the whole entire decent year. Well, at least for the most part anyway though, for a decent year as a matter of fact. And, oh, that was so lucky. I'm so still very glad that the actual roll, or the actual roll diving ability is actually really useful, especially noticeable if you stumble across into some segments like this, Yeah, especially noticeable that, you know, just like in Super Mario Odyssey, then basically it actually saves you from likely going over a bottomless pit or something. Yeah, which is pretty cool. The only time exception the fact that we can't able to actually use Cappy or anything, so that's fine, I suppose. And this is one of the points that basically that well, this might actually be the only special world, along with the forms of the final special world, that it does manage to contain stamps. So, although because of that though, as we already noticed, that unlike in World Mushroom or World Flower, that those two worlds might not contain any stamps, which we'll discuss on that later, so... Anyway, so this... oh, goodness gracious, that was close. I almost got able to miss out on that particular stamp in mind, but luckily we've obtained that, so... And this stamp will actually get us Cat Mario climbing on the wall and stuff, so yeah, that should be self-explanatory. Okay, quick error right there, because if you could tell already that we were expecting if we can able to actually do Super Galaxy level, which is the next level we're going to be hit into. However, here's the thing though, is the fact that we've managed to realize that we do need a specific power-up in order to able to get the next stamp. And that will have to be buddy forms of, well, the Cat Bell power-up. But here's the thing though, we're able to actually use the Super Leaf ability for now on, and then we're able to stumble across the actual, the stamp until specifically later on, if we manage to able to continue exploring for the majority of World Stars. So even though now we've got the Cat Bell, and now let's go ahead and get started with the Super Galaxy level. Yeah, almost inspired by the Super Mario Galaxy theme kind of level. Because obviously we're going to be ended up into outer space. And also we got these familiar enemies from the likes of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. That, you know, noticeable differences with these guys this time around is that you can't able to actually jump them, you can't stomp them while you're jumping on them normally, because you now need to deal with them by doing ground pounding on them, because obviously if you jump on them normally, then they'll be not like, vulnerable or anything else to be more specific. So either way though, and also we got these familiar Lumas right here, which is pretty cool, all things considered, because usually, relatively speaking, that, well, you totally get the idea how this is going. So, there's a good thing that the midway point is actually there, so, yeah, there might be some other levels that doesn't seem to able to have midway points for certain stages, but for the most part though, in World Star in particular, it does manage to have a lot of checkpoints, thankfully, so just in case you don't want to able to get screwed over and over and over again, if you keep on, like, dying a lot, so... So anyway, so let's just go ahead and get an extra one up, and also we can now able to get out the Cat Bell power up, and we can able to get on there. That way we get ourselves our glorious next stamp. There's also a difficult way by simply able to do it normally by trying to do a lot of emphasis on timing, but it will take a very, very long time to do. Especially noticeable that this is originally going to be our first attempt, but unfortunately though, this is our second attempt because, oh man, getting that stamp on the harder way takes a lot longer than it used to be. So because of that though, yeah, we figure I was able to actually just do, well, it's kind of hard for me to explain about this because I know that it has been like, you know, 3 days ago since we actually last touched this, so... And as you can see, whenever we approach to the end of a level, that Rosalina shows up, along with the forms of the Comet Observatory right there. In addition to those, every single identical Lumas, as you can see, like, all in yellow and everything. And every once in a while, when you finish the level, then Rosalina decides to jump in, and because of that, just like in the Wii U version of the game, that basically you were able to actually access to the 5th playable character. This one appears to be Rosalina. So because of that though, whenever when we first heard about it back in the forms of 2013, I was really excited about it. But for whatever reason, during the course of, well, you know, with the fact that with the 35th anniversary Mario Direct back in 2020, they've somehow accidentally spoiled some portions of 3D World, when no one else able to actually get a chance to play it. So because of that though, yeah, I was false about that. Especially noticeable that unlike the Wii U version of the game that kept things a bit secrecy, until specifically when the game later came out during the forms of November, specifically by the end of November in 2013. So as a result, though, that might be some plentiful stuff we can able to imagine about it. So, and yeah, we can able to get that green star super easily by the forms of wall jumps here and there. No need to rely on that particular tilting little cylinder kind of tilting thing. So yeah, that should be pretty surprising. So yeah, there's not much else we can honestly try to talk about for this point today, guys, apart from the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that we've already mentioned about quite a number of things, like the forms of, somehow we've managed to now finally get ourselves, Ape Escape 3 for the PlayStation 2. And all it needs left now is, of course, Ape Escape 2, which I think we should probably save that up specifically until, October time? So just in case we can able to actually discuss on certain portions throughout. So either way though, for the most part though, that for those of you who ever played the Wii U version of the game, that well, specifically in 3D Worlds, where that we can now able to discuss upon again. And the reason why we're going to be using Rosalina on this stage is because one of those stamps is actually requires that particular character to able to activate that specific character switch. So yeah, because obviously that since if we stumble across one over there, then there's our glorious stamp right there. So, and actually got to think about it, that I remember on the Wii U version of the game, this was generally the first time ever in the 3D Mario game that Rosalina becomes playable during the course of the 3D Mario game. Yeah, which is pretty impressive, all things considered, back in the day, even though she will become a lot more stable in the future when it comes to playable characters on certain spin-offs, like, you know what I mean, with Mario Party, like the forms of Mario Party 10, Mario Party Star Rush, the Top 100, Super Mario Party, and of course the latest game in the series, which is supposed to be coming out until the next 2 months actually, which appears to be Mario Party Superstars for the Nintendo Switch. And along with Mario Kart, like it all started in Mario Kart Wii, all the way up to, like, you know, Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 8/8 Deluxe on the Switch, and of course Mario Kart Tour. Speaking of the Mario Kart Tour, actually, though, we will be back onto that game until specifically this Wednesday, although unfortunately we can't mention about any further details about that yet. Because I'm sure enough I'll let Sonic will mention more about it until when he goes back into Donkey Kong Country 3 tomorrow. So because of that though, yeah, let's play as Toad on the great goal pole, as far as the level suggests. That's, well, this is going to be the shortest level in the game, because if we manage able to use Toad on this level, then, oh, I did not meant to do that. I totally forgot about that. Especially noticeable that Toad is like super fast and everything. And by the way, much like the Wii U version of the game, if you manage to let the character manage to able to touch the bottom portion of the flagpole, the goal pole I should say, basically it just goes like a ooh facial expression. Because unlike if you go onto the top of the flagpole, or top of the goal pole, I should say, that gets like happy and stuff like that, which, yeah, that probably explains about the forms of some emotions here and there, so. Anyways, let's try this again, and hopefully we're able to grab not only the 3 green stars, but also the actual next stamp, and hopefully we're able to accomplish certain things like this, so. Yeah, anyway, and also that Rosalina will become playable in certain Mario sports titles, starting from the forms of, I would say, Mario Golf World Tour on the 3DS by the DLC content, and also Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, the most bare-bones Mario Tennis game ever, and also, what else is there? I forgot. Oh yeah, Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games on both versions, on the 3DS and the Wii U, and also Mario Sports Superstars, and also Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 on the Switch for, you know, surfing event, and also there is Mario Golf Super Rush, which is the most recent release for the Mario Sports games, and I suppose that's pretty much as far as I can think about. Yeah, I was faulting myself about the same thing either, so I'm guessing the only thing is left now is, of course, the 2D Mario game to able to have Rosalina as playable character. Well, it depends, really. It really depends on it, though. And also that she'll become playable in you know, Super Smash Bros. Games, starting with, of course, for the Nintendo 3DS and one for the Wii U as well. And recently, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, despite the fact that she'll be the unlockable character this time around in Ultimate, because obviously you start the game off with 8 starter characters ever since in the original days, from the likes of the Nintendo 64. Yeah, which is kind of weird if you ask me, for that particular starting, you know, the starter characters you can able to start the game off in Smash Ultimate, so... But you know, you get the idea about that, so either way though, let's move on to the next level, which is Super Block Land, and as you can tell, the main theme of that particular, it does kind of reminds me of Giant Land almost, or Supermassive Galaxy from Galaxy 2, except, well, we don't come across into any giant enemies, instead it's just like, giant blocks everywhere, which is fine by me, which, I have no words to be able to think about it. So either way though, yeah, we got ourselves our next green star of anything else to be more resides. So, now I do apologize for that particular awkward commentary again, because once again, our computer starts to lag, especially noticeable with every time whenever we do a lot of editing stuff, jeez Louise, our thing is actually keep on lagging, and it's just, it doesn't seem to able to actually get that much better though. Although, there's also another thing we'd like to discuss upon, and that was the fact that yes, we're finally able to actually access to not only the DS, Nintendo DS emulator again, so that way we can now able to actually do the Sonic Rush trilogy, Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, and then the third one being Sonic Colors on the DS, so, which hopefully we're able to actually just, well, try and get these Let's Plays, organized until in the future, but not now though, just because obviously we are playing a Mario game of course, and of course Sonic is going to be working on, you know, Donkey Kong Country 3, as you probably already know. So yeah, potentially speaking, it's just the fact that we're very glad that we've actually got ourselves our DS emulator again. So yeah, I'm very glad that was the case, because obviously back in the forms of the beginning of the year, that we somehow, or actually kind of think about it, it's actually in May actually, that unfortunately we couldn't able to actually access to the DS emulator just because it does need that specific little chip thingy or whatever it's called. And because of that though, we just couldn't do that much DS playthroughs yet, so... And also we've managed able to actually access to the Super Nintendo emulator on our laptop, so that way we can do another set of Let's Plays, ranging from, well, we've already got ourselves Super Bomberman 1, 2, and 3 on the hacked Super Nintendo console, but we still haven't got the 4th one or the 5th one yet, just because they all both came out on exclusive to Japan. So because of that though, we figured I was able to do those Let's Plays in the future. Or even most notable thing of them all though is the forms of Disney's Magical Quest games, like specifically the second game starring Mickey and Minnie Mouses, and also the third game starring Mickey and Donald, which only came out in Japan, by the way. Because yeah, unlike the Game Boy Advance versions, they somehow managed to able to get ported over on the Game Boy Advance version, like specifically have some enhanced graphics and all. Well, despite the fact that, well, the Game Boy Advance version plays out exactly the same as the Super Nintendo version, aside from screen crunch and also some very... I'll have to admit though right away, I'm not a big fan of the actual sound cues for the sake of the forms of the entire, well, the Game Boy Advance ports, just because, well, similar to Super Mario Advance series, well, at least they did well enough, at least to me anyway. But however, in some other games, like, for instance, that, well, it's kind of hard to say, honestly, because I know it has been, you know, quite a few days since we actually did manage to able to, you know, gone back to this game, so... And as you can see on screen right there, we are now moving on to the 6th level, which as you can see, we actually on the top-down perspective, which it kind of reminds me of, well, the Galaga kind of game. So yeah, it's actually a pretty cool level concept-wise, which either way though, there's not much else I can say honestly, so but I digress. And yeah, let's just get rid of those fire chronoplans just in case we don't able to get hit several times from that. Well, not only that we need to able to keep our burrowing power up with us, but also is the fact that we need to get not only the 3rd and final green star, but I get the feeling that the final stamp is actually required to use the burrowing power up. So hopefully we'll try to do that exponentially, as long as we don't screwed over by, you know... Oh, seriously! I have to take a risk. Yeah, we just did the riskiest move. Just like in forms of how it does it on the final level in the fourth world, so... But again, though, that thankfully the progression on our green stars is saved. So, you know, just like in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker game on the Wii U and the 3DS and the Switch versions, basically. So, there's nothing to worry about it here, so... But anyway, though, and also another thing to discuss upon, and that was the fact that, well, I'm pretty certain that, I think that we've only got about 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks left until Sonic Colors Ultimate is gonna come out for, you know, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and of course, Nintendo Switch. So even then, I'm super excited able to play those, versions of Sonic Colors Ultimate, because after all, we've already, experienced the Wii version quite a lot of times actually in the past, but now we figure we can able to play the ultimate version of Sonic Colors like 3 times in a row. Like, we might, excuse me, we might be able to play Sonic Colors Ultimate on the PS4 and the Xbox One versions in our own time, and for the Switch version we can probably do a Let's Play of. Especially noticeable that since after all, that's, you know, trying to do a capture footage on the Switch is actually pretty easy. Well, simple and self-explanatory for the most part, because it requires HDMI and stuff, so... Well, we have no idea why we're saying this right now, because again, I have to admit though right away, I do apologize for the actual commentary, it gets a bit slightly awkward, because again, that every time, whenever we do commentary, and especially noticeable after doing a lot of edits to do, for the sake of the forms of making this a good part, for the most part, on certain Let's Plays, especially in HD, you know, quality of Let's Plays in mind, yeah, the thing keeps lagging all the time, which, I'm hoping that won't be the case if we decide to do our Let's Plays of, well, let's just say Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, as well as the forms of on the 3DS on some portions anyway, and, also, you know, Tropical Freeze game, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, once we, you know, done with several other, like, Donkey Kong selections of Let's Plays, like, you know, for instance, we still haven't got around onto Donkey Kong Land yet, which, I think we might as well do that at some point in the future. Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing, because obviously that, sense about the fact that we enjoyed those games from time to time, well, specifically the original Super Nintendo trilogy of games, so that, yeah, we might as well able to figure we can able to try out, you know, Donkey Kong Land games as well, like, they still got, like, 3 of them, so... But there we go, we've completed that particular stage luckily, despite we accidentally died due to committed suicide while trying to grab the 3rd green star, so yeah, that should be okay I suppose, so... Anyways, I think we've already got about, oh yeah, there's actually a Captain Toad level kind of thing about it, which hopefully we're also able to do that, but in fact, let's do this particular next level first. So, in this case, we'll go ahead and select Rosalina, so just in case we can able to see her more in action, especially noticeable that the only time we use her is in level 3. Even I know that, much like the Wii U version of the game, that basically, that although her running speed is actually a bit tad slower than the forms of how it does it on Mario, Luigi, and Toad, but she does have a very useful ability, and that is of course the spin jump, or spin attack if you're on the ground, so that way you can deal all crowds of enemies throughout. So because of that though, yeah, for those of you if you haven't played Super Mario Galaxy before, along with Super Mario Galaxy 2 before on one hand, then you might be familiar with that particular moveset for Rosalina for dealing with the spin attack and stuff like that. Although the only thing is worth noting for is that the actual young Luma from the likes of the first game and the second game, that does not make an appearance at all, so that might be some consumption, so... Yeah, anyway though, so for this particular level, it's going to be involved around a lot of usage on Mega Mushrooms, and because of some of these certain blocks, are actually required to able to actually use the Mega Mushroom to break through, so... yeah, that might be something worth noting for anyway. And yeah, the spin attack is super useful in underwater, especially noticeable when you're trying to deal with those blooper-like enemies. And because of that, though, that way you can able to actually just well, try and defeat them easily while trying to able to, like, well, you know what I'm saying. So either way, though, let's just wait until we shrunk back ourselves, and because that we see that little shining light, this actually represents there is actually a secret pipe over there. So, and this will actually lead us to the third and final green star, but before we do with all that, we'll not only activate the P-switch to able to get even more blue coins, but also try to, you know, obtain the Mega Mushroom because, well, usually the Mega Mushroom is required to be able to do these kinds of sections, because obviously without one, then you're probably not going to be able to complete that, so... Yeah, and every time whenever you're able to actually get the Mega Mushrooms, most of these Mario characters always gets, like, cross and angry, which, well, usually, like, a bit of a thrown to it, which, that makes sense, because obviously that you're almost like a Godzilla or something like that. Well, I have no idea why I say that's for that bit of a bad pun right there, but that's okay, because either way though, sometimes whenever I was trying to do some puns or jokes, then it might be pretty tricky to pull it off, at least to me anyway, so... But there we go, we completed the forms of this particular stage, so not too shabby for the most part. And let's see what stamp we got. It's just a Mega Mushroom stamp, so that should be worth a while. And I believe we've only got 3 more levels to go, because I say 3 levels left, because obviously with that Captain Toad level, so yeah, I think we should... What the heck? I have no idea why the menus keep on doing like that. But anyway, so here we go on to Peepa's Fog Bog in World Star 8. So this takes place in a snowy level, and it's also throughout, it's almost like a spooky, like, manor kind of theme level. So, and kind of thinking about it though, we'll probably save the Captain Toad level for later, because obviously we need to take care of the forms of some easy levels first, and then we'll deal with the Captain Toad level, and then we'll deal with probably one of the trickiest levels in World Star. Mainly due to the fact that you do have, like, well, a lot of emphasis on the forms of slow parts. Well, not so much slow parts, I don't think, but, it's just the fact the matter is, though, for those of you who have a first time playing the level, that it might actually give you some bit troublesome at points. But, anyways, let's go and save Captain Toad, speaking of which, by able to try and deal with the rest of those Peepa ghosts, and then that way it will give us a glorious green star. So, hopefully we'll meet you at some point, Captain Toad, once we finish this stage first. So, yeah, anyway, though, and, also, another thing is the fact that, yes, we've already managed able to re-download some of these DS games on the emulator, so just in case we can able to do those Let's Plays in the future. Like, specifically, you know, as we said this before, the Sonic Rush trilogy of games, Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure and Sonic Colors, but I'm really hoping that, those games don't seem to lag, unlike, Super Monkey Ball Step and Roll. For those of you who've seen our Let's Play of Super Monkey Ball Step, Touch and Roll, I should say, basically that, well, the actual menus is fine, but it's just that the gameplay footage, the music obviously slows down tremendously, so because of that, though, yeah, we'll try to do a practice run of, Sonic Rush, on our own time, so just in case, if that's been, super stable for the most part, then we can probably tackle for that game, for as a Let's Play of the game, and also say applies to the forms of WarioWare Touched, and also Super Princess Peach as well. So yeah, I think we'll let some of these guild toys, or the like Jewel, Tiana, or the ponies, or the Powerpuff Girls, essentially, can able to tackle through Super Princess Peach. I think, fundamentally speaking, I think we'll let Tiana will touch on that, so... Or maybe Jewel for that matter, because, well, usually relatively speaking, both of those characters are actually female, so... But we'll see. We'll see what happens there, because I'm sure that most people haven't played that game as much as we do, just because the reason why we still got Super Princess Peach on the DS is because of the Mario game collection, so because of that, we figure we might as well do that, so... So anyways though, let's just go ahead and, well, carry on for the most part, and there we go. Yay! Glorious gold flagpole for the win! Again, thanks to the forms of, again, the Tanuki power-up, which I will say is still super useful. Yeah, especially noticeable if you're trying to deal with, like, very tricky obstacles here and there, so... But there we go, we've managed to complete that level, and we only got 2 levels to go, and as we said this before, we should probably tackle through the Captain Toad level first before we get into the forms of the last level in World Star, so hopefully we'll deal with that first. And of course that there's actually a Bowser statue shown up, so once again we do need to require a certain amount of green stars to obtain, so but at least we still got enough though to able to actually unlock the next level, which I will say that it will potentially be one of the longest levels of the game, just because it does require you a lot of like forced upon stuff as you might as well believe, so. But anyways, in this particular Captain Toad level is the fact that every time you activate the P-switch, then the actual the box will slightly tilt it, the actual you know, the actual stage itself. So yeah, that's the only entire purpose of this stage actually plays out. So either way though, we'll just go ahead and trying to able to cope with the forms of, you know, changing between, you know, different sides or anything else to be more specifically. So yeah, that pretty much summed up as such from here. So and I believe we've only got about like a few green or 2 green stars left actually. So yeah, sometimes you have to be very careful on this level though, because there might be a few times that sometimes those enemies, where they're just trying to able to zap you with it, managed able to get squeezed tight in segments most of your time. So, but at least thankfully we managed able to make good for that point. So, anyway, so let's get ourselves the final green star, and it's just right here. So yeah, not that bad of a level, or not that difficult of a level, although the only time it's tricky is the fact that you have to dodge a lot of those enemies most of your time. Although the hardest one out of the bunch though, it will probably be towards at the very end, so... Which we'll point out until whenever we get into the main final world of the game, or the true final world I should say, so anyway, so let's go ahead and use this power of the green stars to able to get rid of the Bowser statue. And this will lead us to the forms of World Star 9. Cosmic Cannon Cluster. Oh boy, how do I even begin with this level? Well, first of all, you still got yourselves the switchboard, very much like the forms of how it does on several other levels. And also that we guys have to use a lot of these cannon boxes, as you can see. And also there's quite a lot of emphasis on the forms of the enemy types, ranging from, well, let's just say the majority of the time of this level is going to be involved around Para dry burns that you have to worry about. And as a result though, that much like in the forms of some portions of, well, it's kind of hard to say honestly, because I know it's been 3 days since we actually last touched this, so... And right there, this is where we get ourselves our next stamp, and I don't think we can able to grab as many stamps as we could until specifically towards the end. So that might as well take a while to able to actually just to get all that. So anyway, so let's just go ahead and get some coins from that little cracked wall over there. So yeah, the reason why I found this level is like kind of tricky because of the forms of not only do you have to do with a lot of stuff you can do, but also you have to carry the hold of the forms of the cannon box at all times, even though despite the fact that you keep on losing them like we do. And also you have to do this very, very picky jump right there, where you have to keep on jumping onto those cannonballs, where I swear to God, my timing is way too off right there. Or maybe it's because of the fact that maybe we haven't played this game for quite some time, since 3 days ago as we said. But, and there's also the one thing is worth noting for is the fact that if you try to able to desperately want to able to continue your progressioning for the whole level, until specifically at the end of the level, then you might as well able to actually go into the forms of the hurry up segment, where basically you don't have that much time left. So, oh, come on, 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 come on. Come on, come on, come on, go on, go on, go up, go up, go up, come on, mighty. Oh, I'm trying. Okay. Oh, jeez, that section can be pretty picky at times. But at least thankfully we got ourselves the first green star, which it does requires a cannon box, by the way, in order to able to actually just obtain it. So, in fact, there's going to be a lot of times that we have to deal with the forms of some portions throughout. Yeah, and especially noticeable about the fact that the reason why you might able to stumble across the forms of 100 seconds left, kind of like some sound effects going to it, is because of this slow auto-scrolling segment with swimming to top it off as well. So, yeah, that might be something worth noting for this such. So, in fact, I believe the majority of those green stars, in addition to the stamp as well, it has gonna be a lot of recommendations to use the cannon box itself. That way you can able to actually grab the most of these collectibles from there. So, it's a bit cumbersome at points, but honestly, that despite that we keep on wasting our time for that particular picky, you know, the actual timing jumps with the actual cannonball sometimes. But at the very least, we make it just okay. So, well, thankfully there's a checkpoint right there, so at least we can able to, well, carry on doing this. So yeah, as you can tell that Ray is going to be concentrating on this level though, because, well, he really doesn't want to mess this up. Yep, especially with this last part. Oh boy, if you ever play this on multiplayer though, it will be kind of painful just because of the forms of, well, a lot of chaotic moments, especially noticeable towards the end. So, yep, we've almost run out of time right there, so hopefully we'll be able to get this done. Oh, nice shot there, Ray. Thank you. Oh, that's even a top-notch shot. Yeah, especially noticeable because I always have to able to be sure I can have to able to time this in exact right timing right there, because if I don't, then obviously we'll get surrounded by the forms of a lot of para dry burns and also keep wasting time on that particular part right there. So yeah, that is definitely the hardest part about the level. Yeah, tell me about it. I think if I recall correctly, that Sonic and Sylvester sometimes screws this up. So, thankfully, this is actually my first attempt doing this. So, kudos to my skills. And hooray, we actually completed World Star, and basically after you complete the World Star, then we can now able to hop into the next rocket, which actually leads us to the next bonus world. So in this case though, the next special world, as far as we're able to actually notice something like this, is the fact that, well, relatively speaking, it's just the fact of the matter is though, is that, well, there's not much else to say, honestly. So either way, yeah, let's just go ahead and hop onto this rocket, and suffice to say, we'll pretty much get out to endings up here. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury for the Nintendo Switch. And that is the fact that we are going to be hitting on to World Mushroom, so the second special world in the game. So we'll see you guys on Wednesday. Later, fellas.